It's Friday. We've got Husam in the house, the Don, the original Don. We have man like Staffy here as well. He's the original Don on no one else had the name Don. So actually, I'm going to change that. There was Don Robbie, but Sam is the only self-proclaimed Don. Don got given his title. Husam gave it to himself. There's a little difference there. But how are you, gentlemen? You both well?
Yeah, I'm good. You know, there's a Chelsea guy trying to be a Don. It doesn't work, you know, because all his opinions are trash. Yeah, he has
Have you seen the latest one?
What did he say?
I'm actually going to play. It was going to be part of the show, but you brought it up and it's just perfect. We're going to play it now. I heard this morning and I went to do the research based on what he said, right? And I'm going to tell you, I did the research on his eye test and he told us to. Listen to this.
They play centre-backs at fullback as well. You know, we've got Madueke now. You might not rate Madueke like that, but Madueke is one of the best one-on-one attackers in the league, bro. Yeah, and I'll say that from now, yeah? Because, bro, one-on-one, that guy is difficult, bro, to mark. You're laughing. It's true. It's true, bro. Go check the stats. Go check the stats. You're telling me Madueke one-on-one's not good?
So I went and looked at the stats, and there's no stat for one-on-one, right? There's a stat for completing your dribbles, right?
Fast, basically.
Dribbles, right? So I went and looked at it. 1.1 dribbles completed per game in the Premier League this season, per 90 minutes by Madueke, which isn't bad. But it ranks him 50th in the league. Some players that are ahead of him. Cameron Archer, James McAtee, Iwobi, João Pedro, Marcus Tavernier, John McGinn. Rashford completes more successful take-ons and dribbles than him. And this is the thing. The take-on is one thing, getting past the man. But also, what's at the end of it? What happens when that dribble is complete as well? So I when you said that about Don, I was going to play it during the Chelsea segment. But it did make me laugh because he says, go and check the stats. So I checked the stats. For me, that's the proof eye test doesn't always work.
You know, that clip right there, there's actually something. By the way, big up to you guys. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Share the video everywhere as well. Big up for all supporting our Straight Facts show. Second of all, this is what I want to say. There's someone on that stream that I've never worked with, but he speaks more sense than any Chelsea fan I've seen, which is CB. Shout out to him, who's been calling out how dead these players are. I've actually come to the conclusion today. The basic disagreement is not even a Poch disagreement. I realized this, Terry, today. It's actually some Chelsea fans actually think they have good players. This is the bottom line disagreement.
You just realized that today?
No, they think they have good players in the here and now. They don't realize that the good players will become good 3 years from now. And I think this Madueke take is just added onto the Don shit takes bank, which is filled right now. If you want to take a loan out, it's very easy because it's full. It's full of shit takes. I actually think it's more rare for Don to make a good football opinion than to make a shit football opinion. It's way more like natural for him to make a shit one. Madueke is one of the worst forwards I've seen in this whole league when it comes to any fucking attribute shown on the football pitch. I don't think he's a good dribbler or a good passer or a good finisher or a good anything. I think he's just there. I think he would fit right into Crystal Palace, right into Wolves, right into Luton. Like, he wouldn't look out of place next to Tosin Adebayo. And this is the guy I'm supposed to think is one of the best, getting past players in the league.
That's harsh to say. That is hard to say. You're doing the opposite of what Don is doing. I do agree with you that Don sometimes overdoes it. I wouldn't say he's trash. The issue is that he doesn't have a big enough sample size for me to claim he's one of the best.
Would he look out of place in Luton Town? Be honest.
No, but here's the thing that I'm trying to say. I've seen glimpses of him. But the thing is, I don't see enough of Madueke to claim that he's one of the best in anything in the league because he doesn't play enough. Could he be a good player? I think he's a decent dribbler, yes. I've seen him take on his defenders and do decent. I've seen him rip a few shots, so I can't say he's a trash finisher. But I also can't do what Don is doing. What Don is doing, I think Don, when it comes to Chelsea, even though I think he's unconscious to what he does sometimes, where he sometimes overdoes it, but I think it's out of emotion because he does love his club and he does rate his team. But I'd like to be somewhere down the middle. I wouldn't say he's one of the best in the league. He could if he does it more. I just need to see it more. But I also wouldn't say he's trash. Would he fit in a Palace and them teams? He probably would.
That's where I agree with you. I understand when it comes to Madueke. I understand. Sorry, I was talking. Sorry, Sam. I'll come back to you in a second. I understand that he's exciting because he is a player that passes the eye test. But when you look at again, I've gone looked at deeper numbers. Why? Because Don said go and do it. So he has quite a high level of take-on success. 50% of his take-ons are complete per 90 minutes. He gets past people on 3 occasions, but only then completes 1.1 of his dribbles, which means he beats a man. But then obviously after beating a man, not much is happening. But you then look at what comes after that, his chance creation and his crossing accuracy. And I've compared it to Bukayo Saka because that's a player that Don dunks on and says is overrated. Bukayo Saka creating 2.7 chances per game versus Madueke's 1.4. Crossing accuracy of 24% versus 14%. And that for me is where if I look at someone who's one of the best like one-on-one in the league, I wouldn't just look at the take-on success. I wouldn't just look at the dribbling success. You've got to look at those two elements, the crossing accuracy and the chances they create or the goals they score. Because if what comes after the take-on isn't very good, they're not one of the best one-on-one. I would rather have somebody like Saka whose take-on completion is 5% worse. 5% worse only. But when he crosses that ball, when he cuts that ball back, he creates more chances. So Saka one-on-one is better than Madueke. Not in terms of how good the dribbling looks, but the dribble coupled with the cross, coupled with the creativity at the end of it. We can't be removing all the facets of what make you a good one-on-one attacker. You have to put it. It's like saying if you've got a great first touch, you can volley players out of the way, but you always miss your final shot. You're not a great number 9. You can't be a great number 9 if you do all the hold-up play well, but your finishing is awful. Equally, you can't be a great number 9 if your finishing is great. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing else to your game. Some will say Haaland. I disagree. I think he has got other elements to his game. He's in bad form. But yeah, I love Don. I love Don to bits. But I think the way he talks about Chelsea and the way he talks about Chelsea players sometimes, do you realize where you are and where you've been? And it's kind of weird to me. Like he'll talk, honestly, I know he's a Chelsea fan, so he should, but he talks more positively about Chelsea players and Chelsea's situation than he doesn't
keep the same energy. That's the issue with Don.
Like, I can't fathom how you can do that.
I agree with you. This is what I've been telling him that, Terry.
United fans attack me for the other way around. Like, why don't you say as many nice things about us as you do Arsenal and Liverpool? How can I? We're not as good. It's impossible. But you don't see me sitting there praising Chelsea, but at the same time dunking on United. Like I feel I keep the energy pretty.
This is why I have chest for other teams, because when people say, "How can you talk when your team is shit?" Do you not watch my content? Do you not hear what I say every week? Like I probably talk about my team worse than anyone else. So I kind of give myself that leeway that yes, I can criticize ops, because when it comes to my team, I dunk on my team the most. I'm very aware of how bad we are. Don, unfortunately, this is the opposite. I love Don, by the way. I have a lot of time for Don. I enjoy working with Don. But if he kept that same energy that he has for the ops to his team, I don't think anyone would have an issue. It's just when it comes to his team, just a little bit too many excuses. Like when he said, if we set up correctly, we'd win more. No shit, Don. If I woke up and I found $1 million, I'd be a millionaire. But I'm not, because I didn't find it. So don't state the obvious, bro.
Well, this is the thing. And then I've got like an eye test guy. He's literally at eye test is his name on YouTube. At United eye test. You must have had him in Spaces at some point. Husam.
Yes, I know him. Yeah. Yes.
He's quote tweeted it saying they are using stats to justify one-on-one dribbling. This sport is cooked. But Don himself said check the stats. So this is the thing, right? Stats are important. If I say that my defender's a great tackler and he's great at winning his duels in the air and he barely loses possession in his own half. He barely makes mistakes, but the stats show that he only wins 20% of his aerial duels. He only wins 10% of his tackles that he attempts. My eye test is broken. My eye test is broken because the stats can be manipulated, but they surely, if I think a player is got a great conversion rate, but they only score 1 in every 20 shots, my eye test is broken. It's as simple as that. There has to be a balance in this. And eye test merchants, this is what I love about eye test merchants. And Don is one. He did it here in this video. Every single time they want to make a point to you about why their player is the best based on their eye test, the first thing they do to back it up is they give you a stat. If they want to shit on a player, the first thing they give you are stats. That's what I love about eye test merchants. They can't even describe it. But moving on from that, because it wasn't even really meant to be a topic today, but it ended up being one. I like it. Man United are linked to Ivan Toney. And I want to throw this out to you, first of all, Staffy. He's linked to Man United. And the rumors have it that he's happy to join Man United, but he is going to demand a salary higher than Bruno Fernandes and wants to be paid close to £300,000 a week to become a Man United player. Should Man United bow down to that demand to bring a player like him into the club, in your opinion?
Okay, first of all, let me unpack this question. First of all, yes, I would give him more money than Bruno because you know where I stand on Bruno. I don't even want Bruno in this team. He is a better footballer than Bruno, and I do see him being a better player for our team than Bruno if he's in the team. So should he be earning more than Bruno? Yes, I think so. But here's the thing. Am I willing to give 300K to Toney? I don't think I would. I would rather go and give that money to Isak because I think Isak has a higher ceiling than him. Toney is someone that I rate highly, and I would take him in this team. It just depends on where he is in terms of, like, at the end of the day, I don't really care about money because it's not my money at the end of the day, but I do understand that it does have an effect on our signings and on our payroll, and it kind of prevents you or helps you get more players in. We've seen that with Casemiro. We brought Casemiro in, we put him 300K. A summer later, we couldn't afford to sign Kane because we would be borderline breaching FFP guidelines. So we missed out on that. Do I want to miss out on future signings that I think would be more beneficial for this team just because I want to put Toney at 300K? I don't think so. Is he worth 300K? I still don't think so. I do rate him highly, don't get me wrong. To put someone at 300K, it means he's been there and done that. I haven't seen Toney play for a top 6 club. I haven't seen him in a team where they're competing for trophies and leagues and Champions Leagues and Europa Leagues and all that. So there's still a lot unknown. I understand putting a world-class player who's proven it for a few years on the biggest pay in the club or one of the highest paid players, highest earners in the club. But I haven't seen it from Toney, so there's a risk involved in that. And I've seen us in recent years put a lot of unknown future players on high wages that unfortunately didn't live up to it. So I don't want this to be another one. I'd rather do it, as I said, with someone like Isak because I think Isak's ceiling and what he's doing for this Newcastle team shows me a lot more than what I've seen from Toney so far. I would take Toney, just not on 300K.
A lot of people say that Isak's injury prone, and I just looked at his injury record, and he had quite a few at Dortmund, to be fair. He had a long injury last year where he missed like 100 odd days, which is what, 3 months essentially, just over 3 months. And he's had 2-month-long periods out this season with the same groin injury. Kind of looks like he maybe rushed back a little bit. But outside of that, most of his injuries are quite short, misses very few games. I think saying he's injury prone might be a little bit slightly overblown, if that makes sense. But I think he's shown a very, very prolific nature, Alexander Isak. And I mean, that was already part of our conversation today. So that links in well. He's linked to Arsenal. I mean, at Arsenal, the reports are they're going to put in some big money bids for him to become a striker for them next year. I mean, where do you see Alexander? If Isak does decide to leave Newcastle, Husam, Man United, Arsenal, who do you think has the better opportunity of getting him?
I think Ivan Toney will move to Arsenal, actually. That's the thing. I think Arteta's comments as well prove that. I don't think he should move to Man United. It's not a like a rival.
Wait, Toney or Isak?
Sorry, say that again.
Are you talking about Toney or Isak? Because
no, Toney. I'm talking about Toney. I think Toney ends up at Arsenal. I still think Toney ends up at Arsenal. I don't think Isak moves yet. I think it's a bit too early. Maybe next year. Maybe next summer if things don't change for Newcastle. I doubt Newcastle are willing to let go of a piece so quick into a project that they just started. That would be like, City getting rid of like an Aguero before they won the league. Like, you cannot do that. You have to just give a little bit of time, before you make such decisions. So I think for me, I think Isak will stay at Newcastle. In terms of Ivan Toney, I think Ivan Toney will join Arsenal, in my opinion. I think it's a possibility he moves to Arsenal. And I don't think he should move to Man United because it's just what's happening at Man United right now. It's too much of a risk for where Ivan Toney is at in his career. Like, he's obviously 28. The next move for him has to be a smarter move. It has to be a smart move to a club where he could achieve some form of success. And I think there's too many question marks still at Man United. The board, the scouts, the manager, Jim Ratcliffe, Ineos, whatever. There's a lot of question marks, and I think at his current age, he's in his prime. He probably has a good 3 years left because of 4 years left. So in these good 3-4 years, you would expect that Ivan Toney moves to a club that's in a better position currently, which is why if I'm in his place, I do choose Arsenal, I choose Liverpool, I choose City over Man United, just because of where I'm at in my career right now. If I'm 28 years old, my next move has to be the move. Like, he cannot afford to mess up a move. And yeah, I think Arsenal is the club that he should end up at. I think him going to United will be a mistake, to be honest.
So let me say something on this. First of all, Tony's 27. Isak's 26. So he's only 1 year older than him. He actually just turned 27. Because I had people.
Isak's 24.
Is he 24?
He's 24, bro. Yeah, I'm literally on the page now looking at it. Yeah,
Perfect.
24.
Actually, even better, because I did tell you I think he has a higher seat. I knew he was younger. I just didn't know. I thought he was
Tony's
only a year younger.
28.
Isn't he? Didn't he just turn 27 last month, or did he turn 28? Please fact check. Okay. So I got that one wrong. That's fine. Okay, so he's 28, which is still young. It's fine. 28 and 24. Either way, Isak still has a higher ceiling, in my opinion, which was I was trying to make earlier. Now, here's the thing. Ivan Toney won't have a lot of options going into next season, and I'll tell you why. Based on what you said, first of all, City don't need a striker anytime soon. They actually have an issue because they have 2 strikers that should be starting, Haaland and Alvarez. So they're out of this. When you go into next year, who out there needs a striker and is in a situation, like you said, to win something? Now, Arsenal are probably the only ones. Liverpool, I don't think they're going to be winning anything less next year because they'll be going into a rebuild mode under Amorim. We all know that Chelsea are far off.
Yeah, but that's
as well.
just fan talk. That's not the way footballers look at things.
No, hold on. But that's not what I'm just going by your logic. So next year, you're going to have Chelsea, Liverpool, United, and Spurs that are decent top 6 teams, but there's a lot of uncertainties on how good they're going to be because of different reasons.
You cannot drag us down to that conversation.
No. I'm not saying you're going to be on the same level. I'm saying you're going to have uncertainty. You're not going to be.
No,
I don't
we won't
think
be
you'll
a
be
top
third.
6 club. We'll be a top 3 club.
No, you won't.
How do you know?
Yes,
that's a completely different conversation you drag us into.
You're
about to go into a rebuild, so you're telling me you're about to go into a rebuild.
We're not about to go into a rebuild, Staffy.
Of course you are. You're getting Amorim, who's going to play different style of football than the current manager.
Oh my God. Manager is going to play a different style of football does not mean you're going to go into a rebuild. Does not mean you're going to go into a rebuild just because the manager is going to play a different style, Staffy. That's not how it works.
Okay. So add the other elements to it. I've heard you specifically talk about selling some players. Diaz, Nunes.
The only way we go
there's a lot of rumors that Salah will leave. Just let me finish so you can answer. Salah might leave because he might get another Saudi offer. Amorim plays a different style, so he's going to come in and he's going to be like, you know what? Some of these profiles don't fit me. Michael Edwards, go get me players that fit this system. This is why Michael Edwards left years ago, because he didn't agree on the signings that Klopp was making. So it means that he's going to come in, he's going to be like, this guy, and that guy are rubbish. Let's get this guy and this guy out, and let's sign these players. So but it's a fact that next year you're going through, let's not use the word rebuild, but you're restructuring your team. When teams go into another phase where they're just changing the style of play and getting a new manager in, by that logic alone, there's always a drop-off. Because you heard, as an example, let me talk about Trent as an example. When he did that interview with Gary Neville last week, he was talking about how all he knows is club and how he plays that style of club that's high pressing. And he tells him just to always press wherever he is on the pitch. He doesn't necessarily play just as a right back. If he's advanced, he presses from that position. If he's lower, he presses from that position. He's going to come in and there's a manager who's going to have to require him to play a little bit more tied into his position. These things will force you to be a different team, and there has to be a drop-off just because there's change. It doesn't mean you're going to become a 10th place team. That's what I'm saying. But you have to have a drop-off.
Versus putting me with United, Spurs.
I did it. Habibi, you didn't listen to it. I said these all 4 teams have uncertainties.
Okay, I got your point. Staffy. The point is as follows. We don't know. There's a lot I don't know about Liverpool. So everything you're going based on is the ultimate negative scenario, which I don't know. What makes you so certain? Even Terry himself said this on last week's episode. What makes you so certain that Klopp to Amorim is not like Shankly to Paisley?
Because when you look at history, when you look at history, when you ask me a question, I'm answering.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay, go ahead.
We don't know for a fact if Amorim doesn't win the league next season. Are you saying it's 100% impossible he wins the league next season? What if?
Why are you saying 100% you finish
Since
third?
we're talking about Toney, imagine he comes in and he's like, okay, Diaz wants to move to PSG. That's 50, 60 million. Nunez, I want to get rid of. I don't think he's good enough. Get me Ivan Toney, and we end up winning the league. Why are we so? The thing is, I think people just like to directly khalas, just because Klopp's leaving, because we've seen good transitions as well from manager to manager. It's not necessarily always as soon as a manager leaves, the club goes to shits. So with the Ivan Toney example, even if what you're saying is true, and even if Liverpool have a fall off, and even if you're including us in that category, Ivan Toney, currently in his age at 28 years old, has about 3-4 years of good level football to play. When he has 3-4 years of good level football to play, his next move, Staffy, has to be the move. So he has to go to a club that's stable, headed in the right position, knows what they're doing, you know. So these are questions at least Edwards has answered in the past. We don't know if Ineos answers that. We don't know if Potter answers that. We don't know if any of the guys answer that. So that's why I'm being fair about it.
I didn't disagree with you when you said he has to get a top move next year for someone who is most likely to win a league. And this is why I said Arsenal. The reason I didn't put City, as I stated, they already have a striker. So those are the only two teams that I look into next season. They're the most likely to win a trophy because they're not going to go through a transition like everyone else. The likelihood of you going through a transition and taking a dip in your form and in your league position is far more likely than you transitioning and winning the league or competing for the league, because it doesn't happen that often. When Amarin comes in, he has 0 Premier League experience, so he still has to learn about the league. And if he brings in some of his players, they still have to learn the league. What I will agree with you on, and which is what I don't think you understood, you can have a drop-off, but it doesn't mean you're going to drop off to my level or Chelsea level. Your drop-off can be going from 2nd or 3rd to 5th. My drop-off, as you've seen, last season I was 3rd, and now I'm sitting 6th or 7th. So my drop is different. Chelsea, obviously, they had their own different drop-off. Every manager comes in, I would say, this is not a factual stat, but I would say at least 90% of managers who transitioned into a new league, especially after a long time, 9 years, you need to understand that's 9 years under Klopp, where some players in that team know nothing but Klopp. Factually, when they get a new manager, they're going to have to learn new football, new tactics, and that takes time to learn. So as I'm saying again, it's more likely that you face a drop-off than to go ahead and win the league. You're not Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte was more in his prime, and let's be very honest, that team Conte took over.
Conte knew nothing about the league, though. That's one of the reasons.
No, but hear me out. Antonio Conte was in his prime, and Antonio Conte took on a team that, let's be honest, should have never been 10th. That Mourinho team that finished 10th won the league the year before. So it was more of a fit. I'm not moving the logic. No. I'll tell you why. That team was too good to be 10th, which is why Mourinho got sacked. Because factually, they were the champions the year before. Conte came in and used the same players, just added a couple players on him, and then he won the league. That is more representative of what they should have been. They should have been a team that's competing for the league. So that's the difference.
I think when it comes to Liverpool's drop-off, it could go bad. Listen, I was just looking at these stats about Liverpool in the last 9 years. 2015-16 won nothing. 16-17 nothing. 17-18 nothing. Then they won the Champions League and the Premier League, 2 seasons running 19 and 20. Then they won nothing. Then they won the Carabao Cup and FA Cup. Then nothing. This season, probably just the FA Cup. As much as people talk about it being a drop-off, I also think there's the potential for somebody with... And I did watch Liverpool last night, and I watched a team where I feel like a bunch of players and the manager had given up. I thought it was a really poor showing in that second half. I don't think it's as clear-cut as they're going to go backwards. I think if they get Almiron right, and listen, they have not been as potent or as good since Edwards left. Now, I'm not saying Edwards was more important than Klopp, but I look at Klopp's talent. Listen, I don't think managers are always the best pick when it comes to talent ID. Sometimes I think you need somebody on the outside helping with that. I think if Edwards would have stayed in the last 4 seasons, Liverpool might have won another Champions League or even Premier League. Michael Edwards, sorry. Who did I say?
Ed Woodward. We don't like that guy. That's why I had to correct.
Sorry, I don't know why I said Ed Woodward. Martin Edwards. Sorry, my dyslexia kicking in. I'm not convinced. Listen, I want to say Liverpool are going to drop off, and I really hope they do as a United fan. I'm not convinced. Where I will disagree with Husam, though, is on Man United's pull or Man United's ability to bring people in. I don't want Toney for 300k a week because I think we need to get away from just paying people obscene amounts of money to be at the club. The same as gooners that are saying, "Oh, just bring me Zidane, offering 50 million a year." If you have to offer someone that much money to change their mind or make them want to play for you, they're not coming for the right reasons. And the first sign of adversity, they're going to want out. It's not going to go down well. Don't do it. So for me, if he's interested, I believe he'd be interested in playing for us. I understand Man United looks all up in the air right now. I think that's what a lot of outsiders think. I actually feel the most calmest I've ever felt going into a summer at Man United since the summer of 2012, when Fergie was still here. I feel very relaxed. I feel quite excited. I got into it today on Twitter with a guy because I think Santi, really good journalist, said United are mulling over new managers. And someone quote tweeted it and said, "I don't understand how we can be doing that. It doesn't make any sense." I said, "It makes 100% sense. 100% sense." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well," he goes, "we haven't even decided on our style of football yet. So how can we pick a manager?" Well, that's part of the process, isn't it? Assessing, if you're going to decide on the style of football as a club, you also have to look at who's available to coach it. So you have to look at the marketplace and go, right, who's available? What's their brand? What's their personality like? Does it fit in with what we want to do? It helps you formulate your plans and ideas. I love what we're doing. And I think once it's all finalized at the end of the season and we see the people coming through the door, I don't think it's going to be hard to sell it to some players. I'm not talking about the creme de la creme, the best.
Sorry, I'm not arguing your pull, though.
No,
I'm not arguing your pull.
Okay, go on.
I'm saying there's, for Tony's age, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying because he's 28. Maybe the next move he wants to make, it should
Saying
just
Tony needs to win now. That's what he's saying.
As I've said, so I totally understand that. If Man United and Arsenal and Liverpool, all three going head to head for him, I believe you two have more pull in that scenario because of where you are. That I agree with.
Yeah.
But the reports at the minute are talking about the likes of Arsenal pulling away from Ivan Toney, and it might be for Isak or Gyökeres, whatever reason it is. I don't believe someone like Toney would look at Man United and just go, "Nah, they haven't won the Prem for 10 years. I'm not joining." The reason I say that is because every single summer that I've done transfer videos, everybody tells me, "Nah, they're not coming United." And every single summer, players that people doubt will come to United, come to United. So I just find it hard to pull into that. But yeah, listen,
would you say it's fair to say that the quality has went down progressively of the players that you do sign? So in terms of like, okay, maybe the players that we signed 10 years ago are a lot better than the ones that we sign now. Would that be a fair statement?
The quality of football, I think, in general has dropped. Let's be honest. So
I'm just having a specific.
What I will say is this. I would say a little bit of yes and no. The names of the players you could argue have dwindled slightly, but at the same time, I mean, they produced about as much as the lesser known players. So it becomes, but we were only signing those players for the wrong reasons. Alexis Sanchez didn't want to be a Man United player until we turned around and went, "All right, we'll double what City are paying." And he said, yes. That's why the Toney deal makes me worried. If he's like, "I only want to come for 300 grand a week," we should be saying no. That's what I don't mind paying people 300 grand a week, but they've got to be worth it and desperate to play for the club or have a real desire to play for the club. If they don't, for me, I think you have to push on past that.
Be a part of it. You know why? You're right. The age thing actually also argues with the salary thing because this might be his last big contract. That's actually another thing as well.
True.
From a financial perspective, he might just want the money because this is his last big contract in football, possibly. So he could be demanding that much money. That's true.
The other link to Arsenal I wanted to get your opinions on before we get onto the games is Zubimendi at Staffy. Heavily linked today with a move for Arsenal. He has been for the majority of this season, but Arsenal, they don't need to rebuild. They need to add some quality. I think we really saw that in the Champions League this year. Adding the likes of Isak, Zubimendi, that extra star quality into the squad, I think I think it's the next. I'm gonna use this word to trigger people, but caveat it. It's the next phase in their development.
Oh my days!
But that's with or without Arteta. It's irrelevant. This is the irony. I'm not talking phases under a manager. I'm talking the phase the club is in. They've got to add better quality players. With or without Arteta, it's irrelevant. And I look at Zubimendi, and what I've seen a bit of him this year. I've read a lot about him. You add him to that midfield with Declan Rice. For me, that elevates Arsenal instantly. I don't know your take on that, Staffy.
The thing about Zubimendi, I don't know what direction Arteta's trying to move into because I feel like Arteta's low-key doing what Pep was doing a few years ago. The thing about Pep is always innovating his system year after year. So every time we think we figured out Pep, he just throws another element or two the season after. Getting a Zubimendi, he's a good player. He's going to retain the ball well. You're a position-based team. But I think they lack a little bit of physicality in that team. When you have someone like Havertz in that team, when you have someone like Zinchenko, and now you're going to add a Zubimendi, I feel like all I'm looking at is like you're just trying to keep the ball. But even Pep has moved away from that. Pep has now added some players that not only just keep the ball, but they're physical. This is why he plays with 4 center backs. Back then, he used to play with fullbacks. He actually used to put midfielders in the back line. Now he's playing system which has more defenders because he wants to defend more when he doesn't have the ball because he already knows he's good at keeping the ball. When I look at Arteta, first of all, he wanted Amado Onana, who is not necessarily a Zubimendi, but he's very physical and he's very good at winning the ball.
He's the opposite of Zubimendi.
He's actually the opposite. This is why I'm saying I'm confused what you're trying to do. Like, what are you trying to add to this team? This is not me saying that Zubimendi isn't a good player. Would Zubimendi in the midfield with Rice be decent? Yes. But I just see that a team now is going to lack physicality.
That's a shit signing for Staffy. We have to say it as it is.
No, it's not a shit signing.
Stop kissing Arsenal and say it as it is. This is such a shit signing for
Why is it a shit signing, though?
I'll tell you why it's a shit signing. Because Arsenal now, I said it last summer, and the Arsenal fans got pissed off and triggered. And I'm going to say it again. Arsenal now need their Alisson and Van Dijk. We're talking about star power and what they're going to do in the Champions League. The fuck is Zubimendi going to do? Pass left, pass right 100 times? Who gives a fuck? They need players who are either world class or on the fringe of becoming world class. The last thing they need is another youngster who's going to take another 3-4 months to get adapted.
He's not young. He's not young. He's 25 years old. He's not a youngster.
That's not what Arsenal need. That's not what Arsenal need. Arsenal need a player that is this close to becoming world class. That's what Arsenal need right now. They need a player. You know what would make us. You know what would take Arsenal to the next level. As an example, Mbappe goes to Real Madrid. Hello, Madrid. Here's 100 million for Rodrigo. Give me. This is what makes them aware. This is really.
But that's a different position.
No. Hear me out. It's not just that example. Don't make it about Rodrigo now. I'm just using as an example. I'm saying these are the type of players that Arsenal need to sign. You want to talk midfield? No problem. Go get Frankie de Jong. Yalla, here. I'm giving you a realistic example. Go get Gavi, Yahi. Go get Pedri.
No, but all these players don't solve what I said. What I was trying to be rational about it. Listen, Zubimendi will get a move anyways. Let's just be honest. Zubimendi, you're talking about players that are being verge world class. He is one of those players. Like, he can fit in so many teams and he wouldn't look out of place. But I'm looking at it as what they need. Do they need to replace Jorginho and Partey because of his injuries and all that? Yes, I get that. But when you get Zubimendi, I'm still seeing frailties in this team. When you look at how they played against Bayern, that Bayern team was too physical for them. They had men on that team. You need men to win this Premier League. This is why City go at it every year, because they keep adding men into this team. They went away from just being pretty football and tiki-taka football to, yeah, we'll do that. But when we have to defend and we have to be physical, we got dogs in this team. Okay, we got Akanji's a dog. We got Rudri.
So who are these?
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is why I questioned it, Husam. Yeah. I said he's a good player. No, it's not. Let me just finish my point, Terry. If they add a Zubimendi, but they go get a real left back, which is not what Arteta does, and this is why I want to know what the hell are you doing.
Yes.
If he goes and gets a real left back instead of that bullshit of inverting Zinchenko into the midfield and he's shit defensively, then I'll be like, you know what? Go ahead and get in Zubimendi, because you're fixing another issue while adding that. You're changing what you did already. That's what Pep does. Pep used to have Cancelo. He said, now F that. Let me put a center back there. Let me do what a real defender does, and I'll get my midfield work from my real midfielders and Stones. That's the same thing. The same thing with Havertz. Stop putting Havertz as a false 9, and then you're trying to get me a Zubimendi because you're already lacking something up front. You need a physical striker that's going to be there in the box to win you balls. And when the team is not scoring goals and the pretty football is not working, this guy is going to be physical. He's going to leap in there. He's going to score you a header. He's going to shrug off a defender, and he's going to score you a goal. You need to fix other elements if you want to add a Zubimendi. And this is why I said I need to know what he wants to do. That's all it is.
So I understand. I think shit signings over the top. Again, there's a few things I'll say on this. I agree completely. It's not the only area they have to address. I think the left back situation. Let's see what Urian Timber looks like when he returns from his injury. Looked good in pre-season. He literally played a game and a half before his knee went. So we never had a chance to see. I think that needs to be assessed. I think left back, full back, 100%. I agree with you. I think, and this is an area that that I got wrong when talking about Arsenal this year. I thought that Martinelli and Saka by this point would be banging in more goals. Therefore, I didn't think they needed necessarily a prolific number 9. I thought they would get, I'm not comparing the quality and the consistency, but I thought you'd get a bit more Mane and Salah out of them, where they're Saka's output has been pretty good, but I thought Martinelli's would be somewhere nearer to that as well this season. So I think they need to go and get someone like an Isak as well. But when I look at Zubimendi, people say small. He's 5'11", and I think he weighs like 75, 76 kilos, which is only a couple of kilos lighter than the likes of Declan Rice and Rodri. He's not a short, skinny, weightless man. He's excellent on the ball, as an example. I don't see it as a bad signing. Midfield is one of the most key areas of a team.
Can I tell you why it's a bad signing?
If all they sign is Zubimendi and they don't address the left back position, they don't sign another striker, they don't sign someone on the right to not, I don't think to back up Saka. I think they need to sign someone on the right to challenge Bukayo Saka's position. If they don't do those things, then I would say it's a crap window. But I don't personally think the signing of Zubimendi is rubbish in itself. He is excellent on the ball, good height, good size, great age at 25 years of age. And I think that he would make their team even stronger defensively and even stronger when it comes to going forward because of the way he would be able to knit the defense and attack together.
Okay. Arsenal don't have a problem keeping the ball. Arsenal have a problem with game winners and match winners. That's Arsenal's problem. You're talking about the transfer window in general. I'm looking at Zubimendi alone. Zubimendi alone does not make Arsenal any better. Because Zubimendi will
that doesn't make him a rubbish signing. That means if they only sign him, yes. But if they sign him,
no. I'm just talking about him. I'm talking about him. You're talking about the transfer window in general. Put the transfer window.
Why is he a bad signing though?
Okay, I'll tell you why he's a bad signing. Because he doesn't improve Arsenal. He does not improve Arsenal. There's nothing that Zubimendi does that's okay. Next season, you come up against the Arsenal midfield. Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard. There's no difference between that, Jorginho, and Odegaard. It's the same shit. That's my point. My point is as follows. Now, Arsenal's focus needs to be on midfielders or forwards or whichever position they want to sign. Forget the transfer window in general. Whichever position you want to sign that are game changers, that are ready to make that world-class step, which Zubimendi isn't.
So I understand your point of view, but you're ignoring something. Partey is definitely leaving this summer, and Jorginho is getting much older. He is physically bigger and stronger than Jorginho and has the ability to look after the ball in midfield like Jorginho. So yes, they're not adding in a match winner who is renowned for winning games with the final ball or the goal in itself. But Arsenal can't. This is what you're suggesting makes sense in terms of bring in 2 more attackers that are match winners for you. Okay, cool, do that. But if they then ignore the hole that's going to be created by Jorginho being a year older and Partey leaving, they're then going to have another problem that their midfield is too weak. And then, heaven forbid, Declan Rice gets an injury. Then we'll all be saying, how comes you didn't address the midfield? I think this summer, someone like Zubimendi is key. But you're right, they can't just sign him. But it doesn't make Zubimendi as a signing bad. Zubimendi would be an excellent signing. By the way, for any of our teams, if Man United were linked to him, I'd be absolutely over the moon. Zubimendi next to Mainu.
You're in a different place, Terry, with all due respect. You are. Zubimendi would be a great signing for Man United.
Improving a midfield, I think every club in the world, every single club in the world should always be looking to improve its midfield. It's generally speaking the most key and important part of a team for consistency.
I generally think they should be getting someone like
Arsenal are ranked in the league. Do you agree that next season, if people genuinely are Arteta out next season, if he doesn't win anything, they have a point? Because it's been too much now. There needs to be a threshold.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, does Zubimendi get Arsenal closer to a Premier League title or a Champions League? No, he does not.
Yes.
I don't think he does personally, unless we're talking about depth.
Again, but you're being a reductionist. You're being a reductionist, and again. Yes, you're right. If Arsenal only signs Zubimendi, but are we living in cloud cuckoo land if we think they're only signing Zubimendi? So for me,
I'm not saying
that. It's a moot point.
Squad depth. If they're signing him as depth, which is what you're suggesting,
they're not. They're signing
Partey and Jorginho leave.
You are not signing him.
And Zubimendi is their replacement. Okay, that's what you're saying.
Hang on, they are not signing Zubimendi if they get him for squad depth. He is coming in to be a first-team player.
Okay, Partey is more of a match winner and a better player than Zubimendi currently is.
No, he's not.
Does Zubimendi bring
No, he's
Arsenal
not.
closer to a Premier League title?
He is.
Yes,
Partey,
if he's a depth piece.
Sorry, Partey isn't currently better because the man can't stay fit. He is not currently better than Zubimendi. He doesn't play games.
I accept that.
Your point, I understand where it is in isolation. If we were sitting here one day before the transfer window shuts and all that's been signed is Zubimendi, I get your point. But we're sitting here deluding ourselves into thinking that Arsenal are only going to sign one player. We know that's not happening.
I'm not saying that, Terry. I'm just saying they need to sign players that are on the fringe
That's
of being
fine.
world-class or currently world-class.
That's fine.
That's
but we're talking about Zubimendi in isolation and what he can bring to them. Saying he's a shit signing is crazy to me.
Him as a depth player. Then your point would be 100% correct, which is, okay, now you've sold Partey and Jorginho. I get my world-class player in, Terry, and then I get Zubimendi alongside him. Then your point is 100% correct. All I'm saying is, if they're signing a player from the ilk of Zubimendi, let's say Arsenal, let's just put Zubimendi to the side. Let's just talk about quality and prototype or whatever. Let's say Arsenal signed 4 players this summer, okay? Let's just throw a number out there. 3-4 players this summer. All 3-4 players are the Zubimendi prototype, which is not necessarily on the fringe of becoming world-class or a world-class player currently. Arsenal will not get to the level required.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you a question. When it comes to these world-class elite players Arsenal should be buying, who are they? Give me some examples of the players that you genuinely think Arsenal have the money and ability to pull away from the current club they're at. Who are these players they should be signing, in your opinion?
Okay, players that are on the fringes of becoming world-class or currently world-class would be the likes of a Gavi, who has shown the ability to leave Barcelona before. Like that, as an example, by the way, one of them is leaving West Ham this summer. I know he's already signed for Man City, but that's just an example. In Paqueta, when you're looking at Joshua Kimmich, who has been open to a move away from Bayern Munich, and he's going to be listening to offers. Leon Goretzka is another one. We can keep going on and on and on and on. Rafael Leao, if you want to talk about forward line players, you can go all over the pitch. And I'm saying, Terry, I understand the reason why you ask this question is because currently in world football, there isn't that many world-class players, which is fair. That's why I said at least on the fringe of becoming world-class. So like he's ready to make that next step with Arsenal Football Club.
So my issue isn't about your interpretation of world-class or mine, because that's subjective. My view is Rafael Leao I get, because I think Rafael Leao, if they've got the money, is attainable, because AC Milan are a huge club. Historically, they're not at the moment. The problem is when you say Gavi, I just don't think he has any appetite to leave Barcelona. So therefore, Arsenal wasting any time on him, it's like they're fans that want the manager sacked and keep saying, bring me Zidane. I mean, Zidane has just rejected Bayern Munich. He's also going to reject Arsenal. So it makes zero...
He's not even a 6, so there's no point of mentioning him. You're talking about 6s. Why are we talking about different...
I think this is the thing for me. And again, I think Rafael Leao... I think Leao was a good shout. But like when you said Rodrigo, in the summer, I remember me and Lee had a debate. And he said, we should get rid of Rashford. And I said, who would you buy to replace? Who genuinely thinks better on the left? And he said, well, you're big Man United. Go and get Vinicius Jr. And I didn't mean to laugh at him to be rude, but it was just, that's never happening. And that's the problem a lot of people have. They say, bring someone in who's better, but they put no thought into what that person is. And I think Arsenal will look to improve. I think this is going to be maybe the biggest summer spending summer of Arsenal's history. It will be on 3 or 4 players. It won't be a mass amount of players in. It will be on 3 or 4 players. But I think they will be going. Look, I think they look at Isak as being that player that's 24, big ceiling, but already scoring lots of goals. I think that's the kind of profile they've got to go for. I think that it's very difficult to go and, because they need 3 or 4 new players. It's very difficult to go for that guy that's already looked at as one of the best in the world, who's going to cost you 160 million because you're using so much of your budget. I think you have to be a little bit pragmatic with it, but it will be interesting to see. And viewers, let us know what your thoughts and feelings are around Zubimendi, Isak, Ivan Toney, where they'll end up this summer. As a summer transfer window is closing in very, very quickly indeed. Clubs are doing all their work or starting their work now. On this weekend, Staffy, I know you've got to shoot soon, so I wanted to just touch on Man United quickly. How do you think United will do against Coventry?
I hate when I get asked this question. I don't know. I legit don't know. And this pissed off. When I said this, it pissed off a lot of people. And they're like, oh, surely we can beat Coventry. Based on what? Based on what can I say that? Oh, but Coventry are not good. They lost to Birmingham. Okay. Hassan, you can do that all you want. I've been doing this all
Coventry
season, and
City,
all
I'm
season I've been
worried.
right. Okay, I'm not saying I'm worried. Should we beat Coventry? Yes. Will we beat Coventry? Most likely. But am I going to speak about it with chest? No. You know why? Because I played all types of opposition this season, domestically and continental. I played big teams. I played small teams. I played all styles of play. And the one thing is in common is that United have been crap. I've seen us struggle against Newport County. We can see they made a comeback on us. It was 2-2, and then we ended up scoring 2 goals. We almost bottled that game. There is no reason for any rational United fan to go into any games and assuring you that we will win. Will we win? I think we
Yeah,
will.
you should be scared of
Because-
Coventry. You're right. Should be scared
Okay,
of Coventry.
tell me in what part of what I just said did I say I'm scared?
0
'Cause you
chest
love to
versus
do this.
Coventry.
Where? Okay, why should I have chest? I just explained to you why
Gary
I don't
just
have
said, are we
chest.
going to beat Coventry this Saturday? And he's like, I don't know.
Why
I
should
don't
I
know.
know? Why should I know?
Because they're fucking Coventry. They lost to Birmingham.
I need you to
53.
give me a reason because you're doing what every United fan is doing. I need someone right now to tell me this is why you should have chest and talk about United. Don't talk about the
Because it's
opposition.
Coventry City.
Talk about United. Why should I have chest and explain it in
Because
United
of
terms?
who you're playing, it matters. You're not
Again,
playing.
you're talking about
Chelsea.
Coventry.
If
This
you're
is the
playing
issue,
Chelsea
bro.
or City tomorrow, okay, you're playing Coventry City. Coventry City. Coventry.
Answer with United terms. Tell me what do United do for me to be confident?
All your players are better than Coventry players. Done.
Give me, bro, that's not a reason, bro. On paper, we're better than most of these teams.
Your entire 11 is better than
Do
their
you want me to
11.
go back and show you the amount of teams you lost to?
Better than their manager too. Name the Coventry name. Name the name of the Coventry.
That is not the point. I couldn't name you the Newport team.
You don't even know his
And
name.
they scored 2 against us. A guy who was working on a dairy farm scored against us. It was 2-2 until we rescued the game in the last 15 minutes.
Every time. You had a problem with me not having chess going to Old Trafford, and you don't have chess playing.
You're
Coventry.
sitting third in the league. You're
Have
sitting
some
third in the league.
You
Hold on,
didn't have
no.
chess
You're not
versus
doing this.
Coventry
You're not
City.
doing this.
Yet you
No.
were mandatory for not
Sit
having
down
chess
now,
playing
bro.
with the
No.
big five.
Let me speak. No. You're sitting third in the league, and you had no chess to Little Man United this season. We've been shit. We lost
Man United
17
are not
games
little.
this season. No,
Man
this
United are
season
not
we've been little. 17 losses this season.
You know who's
I have
little?
lost.
Coventry City.
I have
who's
lost
little.
17 games. Let me finish. I've lost 17 games this season, and you asked me to come in and speak with chest. You were sitting there with 2 defeats this season at that time, and you don't want to speak with chest. That's 15 more losses than you. I have seen us lose to opposition that we're on paper better than them. But on the pitch, the one common thing is that we always look worse than opposition. You're the first one to laugh at us when we're getting outdone by Brentford. You're the first one to laugh at us when we lose to West Ham. You're the first one to laugh at us when we lose to Chelsea. All these teams that we are supposed to be better with have all gave us L's, have all dominated us on the pitch. So when I sit here and I say, I don't know, because I've seen the season, you sit here and say, oh, but you should because it's Coventry. You can give me 0 reasons why anyone should be confident about United outside of the opposition. Every week we talk about the opposition and it's never what United do well.
Coventry have 13 losses in the Championship. You have 12 losses in the Premier League. You cannot name me
I
the name
already
of
told you we should win.
1 second. You cannot name me a single Coventry City player. Stop coming here and doing this pity party every time.
I'm not doing the pity party. It's
There are
facts.
teams, Staffy, there are teams that if you play and you say you're worried, I understand. I'm saying even, okay, let's assume for the sake of argument.
Although you're not even listening. I swear you don't listen to what I say.
I am. 1
I
second.
didn't say I'm worried. I said give me reasons why I should be confident about United. Tell me what United do well. Tell me what United do well. I don't want you to waste my. I have 2 minutes before I have to go. In 2 minutes, tell me what do United do well on the pitch for me to have any chest.
Okay, can I speak? Whether you like it or not, there's another team tomorrow, after tomorrow at Wembley. It's not just you. Had you been playing West Ham or a Crystal Palace or even a Luton, I tell you, be worried. You're playing Coventry City. You have 13 losses in the Championship that you cannot name me their player or a single manager. Or
we're just going in
anything
circles. We're just going in circles.
There are
Because
clubs.
again, you're talking about the opposition.
I'm going to say
and
this.
every single one of your players has more quality than all the Coventry players. That's your answer. Your manager is better than their manager. Full stop.
So this is all true, Staffy. I know you've got to shoot, my man. I know you've got to shoot, brother, and I'm sure we'll catch up again.
I have 2 minutes. Let's go.
You got 2 minutes. Cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this. Look, I get exactly where Staffy's coming from. I get where Sam is coming from. Man United should have chess going into this. I feel like, hang on. I feel like we should be, and I feel like we will be in the FA Cup final. I think we will get past Coventry. Okay.
Thank you.
However,
I said the same thing. What do you mean, thank you? I said I just don't have reason to have chest.
I don't know, Terry. If we're gonna
Terry,
play
please, when the show ends, rewind it for him because I said I think we will. No. I said I think we will. This is what Husam does very well. He just listens to what he wants to listen to. I said I think we will. I think we will win. I have zero reason to have chest, and I explained why I have zero reason to have chest. I'm the same. Listen, this is why every time United lose, what's the first thing I see in the comments on the terrace? Oh, bring on Staffy. He must get cooked. But then I sit here and say these things, but people say, "Oh, you have no chest." And when we lose, I'm supposed to get cooked.
In a game where
how does that even work?
Let me just finish my point, please. It's cool. I don't think we're going to rip them apart. I want to believe it, but listen, when we played, I don't remember who the hell did we play in the earlier rounds. We beat them. We scored 2 early goals, and then it got tight. Who were they? Let's go and have a little look here, right? Yeah. It was a bang easy team. I'm going to go back and find who they were. When we played Newport, okay, we beat them 4-2.
Oh,
yeah, right? But you go back and look at the Newport game. Okay. And now just for full clarity so everybody knows, Newport are what league they play? They're in League 2. Okay. They had 17 shots against us. So my point is very, very simple. The fact that a team in League 2 has generated 17 shots against us, and I think they had 6 what you call proper chances of scoring, 3 big chances in the game. I don't believe any Man United fan can go in with chest saying this is going to be easy. When we played Millwall in the FA Cup final in 2004, as arrogant as it was, I didn't even get nervous before kickoff because I knew we were going to win that game. That Man United team was not going to play. It wasn't at Wembley. I think it was at the Olympic Cardiff Stadium back then, the Millennium Stadium. But I knew we were going to win that game. I had absolutely zero doubt. In this match, I think we will win. But Coventry have a genuine chance. So to stand there with chest and give it the big one, I can't do it. I would love, by the way.
If we lose, we wouldn't be surprised. We wouldn't be surprised.
Staffy, this is what you said, yeah? This is you being confident. Here, I went to VAR because I know my ear works.
I think United will do against Coventry.
Finish the whole thing.
I hate when I get asked this question. I don't know. I legit don't know.
Finish. No. Finish it. Continue.
My reaction was
continue it.
I don't know what we're going to do
Continue the video.
You both asked me to show
continue the video where I said I think we will win. Continue the video.
Worried about Coventry.
You're such a liar, bro. Continue the video. You're actually pissing me off. You're actually pissing me off.
Sam, you misunderstood. When I said, what are we going to do against them? Staffy is, when he says, I don't know, he's talking about performance. I knew exactly what he meant. He did say that I'm sure we'll win or we'll go through.
I said, I think we will win. I just have no reason to have chance. But you stopped the video where it's convenient, bro. You stopped the video where it's convenient. No, what do you mean, who cares, bro? You're literally misrepresenting what I said. Everyone can go back and rewind. I said, I think we will win.
This is the part that triggered me to begin with. So I'm responding to the part that I'm telling you is annoying. You're coming here like, I don't know what is going to happen against Coventry.
I don't know. No United fan knows what United team is going to turn up on the day. I don't know.
I don't give a fuck how you perform.
Yeah, we haven't won a game since we beat you guys.
If you win the game, it's semi-final. It's about winning. It's not how you play.
Okay.
City played that win.
Hang on.
Anyways, guys, listen. Unfortunately, I have to go.
You've got to shoot, my man. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, bro. I appreciate it, my man. Top man. Listen, I understand where you're coming. Both of you are coming from. All he has said, and I'll back him on this. All he has said is that I'm the same. I think we'll win, but I'm not sort of in a gloating, confident, chesty mood about it. I just can't be, because I still think it's going to be a narrow win. I think even winning, we'll be in the final and we'll be happy, but are we going to get any confidence out the game? Are we going to get any real joy out the game? No.
Does how you win matter? Who gives a shit?
It does matter.
Why does it matter? I'll tell you why. One game away from a final. Even if you win 1-0, who cares?
Let me tell you why. I'll tell you why. Okay. The reason that it matters to us is because if we were picking up a little bit of form in the league and in this game and everything else, you could build up to the final and have genuine hope that you win it. If we perform badly again and they have 20 odd shots against us and the remainder of our league games are the same, the lack of confidence and excitement we have going into the final is going to be even worse than last year because you have no real belief that you're going to be. You might win on the off chance, but you go into it with no real belief. As Man United fans, we want some performances to help give us belief. That is the angle that we're coming from here.
You won't get belief regardless based on where you're at right now.
No, that's not true.
Like 6,
that's not
7
true.
Anyway.
Staffy,
You're
stop telling me.
Belief,
Staffy, stop telling me and Man United fans what we think and feel. Genuinely, I'm telling you the truth. We want some quality performances because that is going to make us more confident of winning some games because we know that's where sustainability comes from. But the performances aren't coming. So we are not excited. Please let me finish. We are not excited about games because we're worried about our performances. I don't understand what's so difficult to understand about that.
You're the same guy 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
On Friday, on Straight Facts, said it would be embarrassing if Liverpool don't beat Man United and Husam, you should show some chest. You're playing 8th in the championship, Coventry.
Yes.
There's a bigger difference between Man United and Coventry than there is between Liverpool and Man United. Let's not be disingenuous here. I'm not saying come out here and say you're going to win 5-0 and going to slap them. I'm just saying, Terry, there's 6 games left at the end of the season. You're not going to suddenly develop confidence despite how you play. Let's say you have 70% possession and you win 4-0. Is that going to give you more confidence headed into the Premier League games, the midweek?
So let me just address what you just said there. Firstly, yes, the difference between you playing us, one of the worst performing teams in the league, some of the worst underlying metrics, you were top of the league, you were in great form at that time, you should have had a little bit of chest. Your performances were consistent. We don't have that. So that is the fundamental difference in the 2 points. Also, it isn't playing against Coventry per se in isolation will make us more confident. As I just stated, the reason we're not confident about any game is because none of our performances for months have been particularly good. That's why we're not walking around with arrogance and chest of any level, any way, shape, or form. Because we don't deserve to have any chest right now based on how poor and inconsistent our team has been this year. That's all we're saying. Moving on from this, I want to go to some of the super chats here. It says Staffy is right.
Opinions this week, Terry, FYI, just so you know.
Staffy is right. United should win, but he has zero reason to have chest because United this season have been disappointing.
You're playing Coventry, Dio. Coventry.
Yeah. Go back. Already addressed that. Arsenal to sell Jesus, Emil Smith-Rowe, Vieira, Partey, Jorginho, Zinchenko. Nelson and Herrera can be there as hard much as well. Yeah, listen, you're going to sell a lot of players. That's why you're going to need to buy a number of people in. I agree. Sam's point is quite weird coming from a Liverpool fan. You were saying Liverpool shouldn't have signed Salah or from Roma or Mane. Hard to judge. He was on the cusp of becoming
world class. It's actually not hard to judge at all because Mo Salah scored 19 goals in the Serie A, had 11 assists, was in the Serie A team of the season. He was the guy that broke Juventus's unbeaten streak at home, scored twice in Turin. So there were signs there. If you're telling me Zubimendi is the same level as Salah was at Roma, then you're smoking some of the good stuff. And this is the problem with the Arsenal fans. When you support them, they're all with your side. When you give them some constructive criticism, they start crying. Sign Zubimendi, Habibi. So next season, Leland is back on the terrace a year later talking about, we don't have experience and it's okay because we showed progression.
Okay. To me, not the next phase, it's the last phase. Yeah, maybe under Arteta, but Arsenal will never be in their last phase. It's always going to be the next phase for Arsenal. Husam leaving out ownership from new Man United's acquisition. Thank you, bro. Just by the wage demand, it seems Toney is looking for money and not the best footballing situation. He might go to United or Chelsea. It's a very good point there, Patrick. And thank you, Luke, for asking everyone to smash the like buttons. Please make sure you all get that done. Big up Staffy and Pete Sampras. I like that. Pete Sampras
on the spot for me.
Great tennis player. Pete Sampras was in the day. Great tennis player. Before we get onto the Premier League games and speak Arsenal and Liverpool, who's going to win, Chelsea or Manchester City this weekend?
Chelsea are winning the FA Cup. I made that prediction when Liverpool were in it in the quarterfinals, literally like 2 months ago. I think Chelsea are winning the FA Cup. Chelsea are going to beat Manchester City this Sunday. Chelsea have Manchester City's number. They just need their players to be a bit more clinical in front of goal, and I think they got this. I think Chelsea currently are the kryptonite to what City does. Despite, all the Chelsea fans, we already know, everyone, watch out, we get it. But Pochettino's, even his training regiment is all about running and pressure and all this, and is focusing on physicality. Manchester City just played 120 minutes against Real Madrid literally a day ago. Pep was even complaining about it in the press conference, talking about, why is Chelsea playing on a Saturday? They're not in Europe. Why are they playing on a Saturday? So I already think when it comes to Chelsea Football Club, they are going to beat City this Sunday. And I think City looked a bit tired as well towards the end, Let's hope it doesn't go to a penalty shootout because, Arsenal and Real Madrid in the same season. So, yeah, I think Chelsea win the FA Cup, and I think Chelsea beat Manchester City this Saturday, sorry. I think just purely from a physicality perspective, it's on Chelsea's side, and both games that I've watched of Chelsea this season. Also, let's get something in right here, right now. The first game that Chelsea played against City at the Bridge, Rodri was playing as well, so we cannot use that as an excuse. So Rodri was playing, and they put 4 goals past City. So they've shown the ability to do that. It's whether they can hang on defensively or not. That's kind of the only question I'm asking myself. But I do think Chelsea will beat Manchester City. I actually think Chelsea are going to win the cup against your club in the final, Terry. So that's my honest prediction. I just don't see City winning this game. Just from a pure physicality perspective, they're a bit too tired, too knackered after that game. And Chelsea have Manchester City's number. Actually, Pochettino, I think himself has quite a decent record against Pep. Like, he does okay/well compared to the other managers, how they do against Pep. So, yeah, I think Chelsea are kind of low-key City's kryptonite in terms of the way they play football, the way that they can handle them, the press. They're able to press Manchester City, balls in behind, the pace of the likes of Mudryk and Sterling and Jackson, etc. So, yeah, I think Chelsea have been the better team twice against Man City this season, and I don't think this changes this Saturday.
Look, I think what you said holds a lot of water. Their games between the two of them this year shocked people. Everybody expected City to wipe the floor with them because of where Chelsea have been, and that hasn't happened. There's the extra time and the disappointment. Pepper's kind of thrown it out into the ether around the players are tired. I had to take people off because they were tired. And I find when managers do that, you often get bad results. He spoke on Cole Palmer today that it wasn't a bad thing to let him go. I think that's rattling the cage of the football gods a little bit, because when those kind of comments are made, typically they show up. I really hope you're right, and I really hope that Chelsea do it. And this isn't a disrespect to Chelsea. It's that if
You're
Man
about to be
United...
disrespectful.
No, it's not disrespectful. It's not disrespectful. I think most people would agree that Man United, if we make the final, have a better chance of beating Chelsea than we do Man City. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my reason for wanting it. If it was Chelsea versus Coventry, I'd want Coventry to win because we'd have a better chance of beating Coventry. And a lot of the times when I think about what I want to happen, it's based on what's best for my football club, as an example. So I really want Chelsea to beat them, and I really hope they do. As long as City don't score an early goal, I think Chelsea will push them right until the end. I'm still slightly siding with Man City. If I'm being honest with you, I hear everything you're saying and what I'm saying. I still think City might nick it 2-1, something along those lines, maybe 2-1 after extra time. But I hope and pray Chelsea knock them out, because I actually don't think many people want to see a Man City-Man United final again, because it will just be dominated by one team. I think the world would quite like to watch a Chelsea United final, because it would just be open, end-to-end, entertaining. And I also think if one of Arsenal or Man United or Chelsea was to win an FA Cup this season, it would really get under the skin of some Arsenal fans, because it's in how bad we've been. And one of us wins a trophy and they don't. So I think there's multiple layers to it, but I find it really hard still to predict against Man City. So I do hope you're right, though. I do hope that Chelsea... Do you think this could be the semi-final for Cole Palmer? He's had a brilliant season. Do you think this could be the chance for him to nail down that Young Player of the Year award?
Haven't they voted for it already, though?
They may have done. Well, let's just change it there. I'm talking Young Player of the Year as seen by the fans. I think that really matters a lot more. Do you feel like this could be the game to sort of solidify that?
I think, look, if you're asking me who's a better player, Saka or Palmer, I'd say Saka, because he qualifies for the Young Player of the Year award. But if you tell me who's had a better season, I have no problem saying Palmer had a better season. You know, I think that's a very fair statement. I don't think there's anything crazy about saying Palmer currently actively is having a better season than Bukayo Saka. I think Pep is absolutely waffling about you know, it was okay to let him go and all this, because Cole Palmer factually, forget Saka, has been better than Grealish, has been better than Doku, has been better than anyone playing on the wings for Manchester City. So you could even make the argument that he's probably having a better season possibly than even a Phil Foden, dare I say it. So I think Cole Palmer definitely, you know, it's a wrong move to sell him to Chelsea, because he would have made a massive difference to Manchester City this season, specifically given where the City wingers are at. So I think Cole Palmer is having a very good season, but he just needs a little bit of help, you know, a little bit of a running mate, specifically this Saturday. You know, he needs a Jackson. He needs someone like that, you know, next to him to help him out in that game. But I think, yeah, I think Chelsea win this game. I really believe it. And I think Cole Palmer will play a massive role, but it cannot be him by himself. That's the one thing I'll say. So it needs to be with a Jackson. It needs to be with a Mudryk, with a Sterling, with someone. Even last time the game at the Etihad, Sterling done, you know, Kyle Walker, who, you know, he's obviously looked at as the best right back in Premier League history. You know, yet we don't keep the same energy for him as we do certain players, but I'm going to let that go for the sake of the fact that Terry has a time limit on today's stream. So yeah, because I can speak about that for 45 minutes, once again, to blame for the Real Madrid goal. But yeah, I think, look,
on Kyle Walker, I don't like the shouts that he's the greatest ever. I don't. I think he's a very good right back. I think he's an excellent right back, but I believe that his recovery pace covers so many of his flaws, so many of his mistakes. I think if Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher had his pace, nobody would. And I'm just using them two as an example, right? If I actually think for City, again with pace, what was his name? What was it? The Zabaleta was a better defensive right back. Kyle Walker has just got speed. He's a good defender, a very good defender. I'm not taking it away from him, but his speed gets him back into positions that his defensive positioning keeps him caught out on. So it is an attribute. And some people say, well, it's an attribute, so it shouldn't be taken away from him. And I think that is a really fair challenge to the situation. However, I don't think.
Yeah, well, you told me the reason Trent gets criticism is because Liverpool fans put him on such a high pedestal. Okay, City fans say Kyle Walker's the greatest right back.
Agree. I just don't think I don't think he is the greatest. I mean, you just it's. I think using your recovery speed to make up for defensive mispositions. It's not, for me, it's not a flex. I don't see it as a flex personally.
Yeah, I don't see it as a flex either. I agree with you.
That's just my opinion. That's just my personal. And I get speed is part of the game, and some people will say, well, that's an attribute. So I'm putting him up at the top. When it comes to me nitpicking between the greatest ever, I'm going to go for people that rarely got caught out, because if they did, they were in trouble. The level of discipline that goes into that, for me, makes him better. What I'm not saying, though, for anyone who's getting angry in the comments, is that he's bad or rubbish or trash. Still world-class and top-class and brilliant. So just remember
you know what
that
I said
bit.
at the start of the season, when people got really mad, I said Trent is actually better defensively than Kyle Walker. People get mad.
Oh, see, I wouldn't go that far.
No, but here's the thing. Other than recovery pace, if we look at defending, as in like positioning, tackling, all of that stuff, I would actually say Trent is better at those things than Walker is. I think Walker has recovery pace. That's it. Yesterday proved it from an IQ perspective, just from an IQ, straight up IQ perspective. The guy played the Real Madrid players on side, proceeded to tackle the ball like a Flamengo and sit down on his ass unnecessarily, and then Real Madrid scored. And that was their only shot on target. So had they not scored that goal, factually, Madrid would have went through. City went through.
I want to ask you about this weekend as well. Arsenal take on Wolves. Will there be an Arsenal bounce back this weekend, in your opinion, or is it the end of their season? Will they? A lot of people are predicting a collapse in April. Anyway, sorry, I just see an interesting bit of news I'm going to tell you about in a minute. Do you see Arsenal bouncing back, winning, going back top of the league this weekend, or do you think they might collapse from this stage?
Arsenal are not going to bounce back. Liverpool not going to bounce back. Let me tell you exactly what's going to happen this week, Terry. Wolves and Fulham are either going to win or draw against Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool not getting 3 points. Arsenal not getting 3 points. And what's going to happen is Manchester City will win the Premier League without playing a single Premier League game this weekend. This is the weekend where they become champions, essentially, without us playing a game of football. I think Wolves are going to get something against Arsenal 100%, whether it be a draw, whether it be a win. And Fulham are going to get something against Liverpool. I think Liverpool and Arsenal fans are in the people who still have hope are in complete cuckoo land, and they act like they haven't been watching Pep Guardiola over the last 4 or 5 years just eat up April, March, and May. This is just the time that he does this shit. So for me, Manchester City have already won the league. I'm not going to sit up here and just waffle and give people false hope and gaslight them. Arsenal are not winning the league. Liverpool not winning the league. We have tougher run-ins. And I think the performances over the last 2-3 games do not show you any signs of any form of optimism or anything that prove that Liverpool or Arsenal could actually win the next 6 games in any way, shape, or form. However, because we've seen Man City do it before, they're more likely to do it than we are. And I say we, both referring to Liverpool and Arsenal. So I think Arsenal are going to lose or draw against Wolves, and I think Liverpool are going to lose or draw against Fulham. And this is just the weekend where Manchester City basically go like, we've won the league already. So that's basically what I honestly think. I think Wolves are a team. Remember that they stopped the Spurs winning streak. They were the team that stopped it. We had a very difficult game against them. We were 1-0 down, and if it wasn't for Cunha, we could have been 2-3-0 down. And Mo Salah 3 assists ended getting us back in the game. They beat Manchester City at home. Didn't they beat you at home as well?
No, we beat them.
They beat Chelsea.
They outplayed us, but we beat them.
Yeah, they beat Chelsea at home. So Wolves away is not an easy place to go. So yeah, Arsenal are either losing or drawing that game. Arsenal will not beat Wolves. They will not beat Wolves this Saturday. And on the same side, we're not beating Fulham either.
No, I get you. I'm not convinced. I'll be very disappointed I was very disappointed in Liverpool last night, and I'll be very disappointed in both of you again this weekend if you don't come out all guns blazing and going for it. Because I'm trying to look at the Premier League fixtures here. As far as I'm aware, you both play this weekend when they don't. And then Arsenal play on Tuesday against Chelsea. And you play on Tuesday away at Everton before City next kick a ball. So you both play 2 games before City kick a ball. I concur completely that City are the favourites. But from my perspective, I get that if you think Liverpool and Arsenal are going to do this, that's different from you hoping they do it or accepting they do it. I would want to see Arsenal and Liverpool fans in conjunction fuming at their managers and fuming at their players if in the next 2 games they look limp. No pun intended. If they look flaccid, if they look like they have given up. Because limp. Because for me, giving up at this point is completely unacceptable, even though you're fighting against the odds. It's completely and utterly unacceptable because the history of sport has shown us that anything can happen at any particular moment. And if you both win your next 2 games, which is doable, it is doable because you're playing teams that you are both much better than, you could put Chelsea City in a position where, yes, they'll have 2 games in hand, but they're behind you in the league by 3 to 4 points. They then
who's going to stop that?
Okay, but let me just finish my point. Then they're under more pressure to win. And I'm not saying you're wrong to think you're going to throw it away. I would be more angry about it for you guys just to throw it away now. Collapsing now is a much bigger bottle job than what you did against United. It's a much bigger bottle job than what Arsenal did in the second half against Aston Villa. It's throwing in the towel when the fight isn't yet over. Go out on your sword. Go out and smash these teams. Make City, at the very least, make them fucking work to it until the last day of the season. I don't have a dog in the fight directly, but if I was an Arsenal fan or I was a Liverpool fan and you guys just fade away now for the last 6 games and failed to only win a couple of them, that would change my entire mind. If I was someone that was Arteta in, that would change my mind. If I'm someone that looks at Klopp as being a legend at my club, he would still be a legend, but it would damage his legacy slightly. To throw in the tail at this point, I think is completely and utterly unacceptable. So I get that's your prediction, and I understand where it's coming from. But if it's the truth and that's what they're doing, what a disgrace from both football clubs. And I mean that genuinely. It would be a disgrace. Arsenal, with the injuries that Wolves have got, should be winning this weekend. You are exponentially better than Fulham. Your derby game against Everton, fair enough. They get quite a lot of draws against you at home. They're fighting for survival. That could be a difficult one. Arsenal's midweek game is who? At home to Chelsea. Look, Chelsea are about to play a big FA Cup semi-final. Arsenal are better than Chelsea. They should still be winning that game. Both of you should be winning your next two matches, and the expectation should be to win. The fact that you're not, and I've seen a lot of fans from both sides say, I don't think we will. That should tell you a lot about your football club. That's really bad, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it is bad. You're saying you should fume if that happens. I'm already fuming. What do you mean it should fume? I should fume. I'm already mad. I would sell about 7 of these players right now if it were up to me. I don't think it damages Klopp's legacy because it's not necessarily Klopp's fault. I'm not even going to go into FSG or any of that stuff. I just think it's the player's fault. You know, a lot of the times, you know, many people just want to sit up here and just talk about manager. That's a Chelsea thing. That's not a Liverpool thing. That's not a real football fan thing. That's not a, you know, football person thing. I watch Liverpool Football Club every single game. We've dropped points in this season, other than Arsenal away. We've been the better team, created the more dangerous chances, had clear-cut chances for goal. Crystal Palace, you haven't spoken to me since then. We could have scored 6 goals in that game. It's not Klopp's fault that all the players missed the chances. I'm already fuming. I'm already raging. I'm already angry. I don't need the results to happen the way that I've predicted this weekend for them to be raging or angry or whatever. The thing is, there's another part of this equation that people keep missing in this debate, which is who are stopping Man City. Factually, objectively, numbers-wise, even if Liverpool and Arsenal win 6 out of 6 games, we still might not end up being league champions unless City drop points. I look at the City run-in, and I've said this from 2 months ago. Nothing's going to change my mind now. The City run-in is so pathetic, and it's been proven because Arsenal lost to Aston Villa at home, and City beat Aston Villa with their bench. So what I'm not going to do is just sit up here and lie to the people or gaslight. Brighton are not stopping Man City. Spurs just lost 4-0 to Newcastle. They're going to play open, expansive, high-line football against Manchester City. They're going to get slapped. So there is no team that's stopping Manchester City. And as a matter of fact, if Manchester City lose the league from this point in time, in this position that they're in, it's one of the biggest bottle jobs ever because they have the easiest run-in I've ever seen. It's just the easiest run-in I've ever seen. It's just like walking your way into a Premier League title. At the end of the day, Brighton, Wolves, West Ham, whoever the fuck, is just not.
Listen, I'm going to call you out on this. You're just your talk right now, I call it vaccination. This is your way of shielding yourself from any more criticism and putting all the pressure on City. You're tempting the football gods a little bit with the it's easy, City won't drop points, who's going to stop them? But underneath it all, there's a little smile that's going, I hope someone stops them. I think they've got a chance.
Terry, this has been my opinion since August. A month ago.
Your opinion in August was your opinion in August was that Arsenal were going to win the league.
Yes, it does. Okay, but I'm talking about my own club. We're not going to win the league. Exactly. And also, you fraud. You clipped up the clip where we were signed Caicedo, where I was singing we're going to win the league. We didn't sign Caicedo. Fraudulence from Terry, as per usual. But anyway, back to the game's the game. Back to this current title race. I am throwing in the towel. I just don't believe in the players have shown me nothing to believe.
You're weak.
You say it's weak. Who also told you it's going to be 2-2 at Old Trafford? Me.
Yes, so, yeah. But this is not the point. You don't throw the towel in now. You go down on your shield, Husam. You rally the boys up. Let's go. He said, no, it's okay, boys. It's okay. Let me stroke your hair. It's okay, gents. You don't have to play.
They have to tell me something to believe in, Terry. Belief doesn't exist in a prison by itself.
Weak, Husam.
Okay, you can call it weak all you want. At the end of the day,
you have no chest or no chin.
We lost 3-0 to Atalanta at home.
What happened to your balls, bruv? Where are your balls gone?
They're existent. Don't worry.
You ain't got bruv. You ain't got balls.
No, I do have balls, but
I didn't drop. Man's got a beard but no balls.
Men have two brains, one in the bottom, one on the top. I'm using the one on the top. I'm using the one on the bottom.
Listen, you're talking out your hole at the minute, bruv. You can't be throwing in the towel right now.
Name one footballing reason why any Liverpool fan should be confident right now.
I didn't say confidence. Being confident and throwing in the towel are two different things.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll change the question. Name one reason why any Liverpool fan should have any hope right now.
Okay, I didn't say hope. I said you should not be throwing in the towel. And
So
what I mean by
I'm
that
not confident and I have no hope, but you're saying no confidence and no hope.
but you're letting your, for me, that attitude lets your players off the hook. The demand should be very unlikely to win. It's going to be hard to win from this point. But go out there, and win every single game. Go out there and give it your best, because if a mistake does happen, you need to be in the. Imagine your players follow your example and go, "It's okay." Husam said it's over, so they drop and lose more points, and then Brighton do pull off a shock. Then you feel stupid.
Luis Diaz sat at home watching Football Terrace, and this is football.
Yes.
And
They watch what they watch. What do you know? How you know they watch social media? Do you remember a couple of years ago when PSG went to the got to the semi-final, and Leon knocked out Man City? Do you remember what Mbappe tweeted? He said Farmers League. How would he know about people calling their league a Farmers League if they don't consume content? They may not know us personally by name. They see things we say, whether they're watching the shows or clips. They watch this stuff. What we do on social media moves into these spaces. Look, I want to move on to some breaking news that's coming very quickly, and I want to read this out to you. Zinedine Zidane is closely monitoring the situation at Man United. He would prefer the move to Man United over that of Bayern Munich. That comes from the very credible L'Equipe. I think, no, it's not pronounced L'Equipe. I'm reading it as L'Equipe. L'Equipe, that's the one in France.
Husam. Je m'appelle Jordan.
Je m'appelle Terry. Je habite London.
Do fromage.
My French is awful. But Zinedine Zidane to Man United. Talk to me.
Yeah, that's not going to happen still.
Okay, let's go to that in a minute. Would it be a good appointment?
Of course it will be a good appointment. Are you mad? Zinedine Zidane. I'm taking Zidane at Liverpool. I think all Arsenal fans should sack Arteta tomorrow for Zidane. Zidane is a game changer, bro. He would walk in. He would command the respect of every single player in any single team, in any single squad in world football. This guy has managed Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, Benzema, the best of the best. So I think Zinedine Zidane is an absolutely fantastic manager. It will be a great hire. However, I don't see it happening. I don't think you do get Zinedine Zidane, because it's not the right club for him.
But he's interested in it. He's interested in it, according to this report.
We and you both know L'Equipe waffle sometimes. It's not doers.
Not always. They not always. They've got a lot of good things right.
Sometimes though.
If Man United were to get him, how hard would you cry?
I wouldn't cry, but I just want him to manage Liverpool.
No, I think you would. I think you'd cry I think it would break you.
Mm-hmm.
This is all I can think. This is all that's going through my head right now that I'm thinking about Zinedine Zidane. I want to play. I want to play this to everybody. This is all I keep thinking about.
Uncertainty. Why are you clapping a manager out? Why are you clapping a manager out?
Zinedine Zidane.
He won't change anything.
Zinedine Zidane.
He won't change anything at United.
Zinedine Zidane. That's all I have to. Zinedine Zidane. He won't change it.
He'll do it for a year. You'll put in your bio.
Zidane.
I only speak Zidanese, like you did with Ten Hag, and then you'll.
Zinedine Zidane. Listen, I think it would be a very, very big long shot for us if I'm being objective about it. But if it was to happen, do you know what I'd really laugh about more than anything else? It would just be all the people saying, "You've got no pull, you're Man United." Listen, it'd be amazing. I doubt it. We're probably going to end up with Graham Potter. That's what we're going to end up with. But it's an interesting story that he sees us as more attractive than.
Do you think this is just like an agent move type thing?
Maybe it could be. It could
the
be.
France job, basically saying, if you don't hurry up, I'm gonna go get I'm gonna go get myself a job.
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit of that. I mean, look, I'm gonna be nervous whoever comes in. I'm genuinely gonna be nervous whoever comes into the mix. But listen, if Zinedine Zidane was to become the next Manchester United manager, I'd be buzzing.
That you need to be aware of. Real Madrid are saying they want to keep Ancelotti.
Yep.
We already know one of the reasons why Mbappe wanted to move to Real Madrid was the Zidane factor. So there might be a return. There may be a second return back to Real Madrid. And maybe this is an agent move. Listen, this is no disrespect to Man United. This is nothing. I don't think this is to do with Man United.
Look, I'm very aware. I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of that.
So it could be the Mbappe thing. Maybe Mbappe himself said, "I want Zidane back." It's a possibility.
Totally agree. And I'm not. married to, again, I'd love him at Man United. I'm not going to sort of marry myself to this story and say this is what's happening 110%. It goes against a lot of other things that I've been told. There is a bit of excitement to it. But I'd be so, if we were to get someone like Zidane for the start of this genuine rebuild, it would demonstrate to me the potency and the ambition of the new owners, because they've been, and I'd also look at Zidane and go, this guy already is a footballing great. He's a managerial great. But if he took on a challenge like this, it would show us such a pair of balls. No, did he? Because he's saying, I want to do. Sorry.
Would you take Xavi Hernandez?
No, I would. No, I wouldn't. Like, just. I mean, he's better than some of the other candidates we've been linked to, like Southgate. But what I would respect about Zidane taking a move like this, it would be a Fergie-esque move. I'm going to go to a fallen giant and try and be the person to help rebuild it from the ground up. I respect that, because that's the, forget the treble. That's the thing that I look at Fergie as why I think he was the greatest, is because he took a fallen giant and rebuilt it from nothing and then maintained it for the best part of a quarter of a century. Now, I know Zidane isn't going to stay with us for 25 years, but if he took on this project, which has a big percentage chance of failing, and he turned us back into Premier League winners or Champions League winners, what it would do for his status in the game would be astronomical. It wouldn't just be another trophy or two. It would be, you were the guy that fixed one of the biggest clubs in the world when it was on its arse. And if he was to take it, I'd have so much respect for him, because a lot of top managers wouldn't take the risk. They would say, I'm not risking my reputation and CV for a project that could fail. So look, if he does take it, fair enough. But personally, I had desperation, Terry. This is not desperation. I'm just telling you what I would feel if he took it. Not that's why he's going to take it. There's a fundamental difference in those two things.
I agree with Terry, because the same thing I said about Alonso to Bayern versus Alonso to Liverpool. It's a difference. If he wins the Bundesliga with Bayern, they're going to go like, okay, you won it with Leverkusen, who cares? So that's the thing.
Which is why I think Alonso's been smart and he's getting another year in at least. I think he needs more experience as a manager before he goes to one of these gigantic football clubs. Even though he looks like he's going to be the guy could do an invincible treble this year. Fuck me, right? Not the treble, a treble, but he could do that. I'm
glad you changed that just in the right time before I was ready to attack.
I know you were. I was quick on that one.
You said B, and they said A treble, not
A
B.
Treble, okay. A treble. Or win 3 trophies, invincible is what he's aiming to do. I still think he needs more experience. It's almost like what you probably need for him to go through before Liverpool punt on him. And even as a United fan who wants him, Leverkusen struggle next year. I kind of want to see how he handles it, because you're going to go through ups and downs and all these little different bits and pieces. So he's literally coming to United. Welcome, Zizou. Listen, I'd love it. I don't think he is. I don't think he will. I'm not going to get overhyped about it, but I would love it to be true. I really, really would. Super chat here says, Sam, you are saying exactly what Staffy asked you.
Yes, because there's no difference between Liverpool and Fulham that have actually taken points off of Arsenal. Yourself have experienced that, Dio, have drawn to us already in their own backyard versus Coventry. You're 100% correct, yes. Dio, you waffled enough. Do you want me to send Terry the clip to play it in front of all the people right now?
This here says City can't play under pressure, unlike others. So you play better under pressure, unlike others. Listen, that's why City are my favourites for today. But I do hope that Sam is right. Look, I want to thank everybody that has tuned into the show. It means a great, great deal to me. It really, really does. Off to go and record the squad. That's going to be with George. Adam Charles is back on the terrace, and Neeks. We're going to the studio now. So really excited to bring that to you guys later today and tomorrow. Sam, always a pleasure, mate, to speak football with you. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.